As the Premier sells a renewed relationship with Ottawa to a business crowd.
And today the picture has shifted dramatically.
Separatists want clear answers tonight in her address to the province.
A lot of people have had enough and they want to chart our own course.
Plus a shocking case of animal neglect.
We are looking at several different applicable charges in this case.
An investigation is launched after the bodies of 2 dogs are found in a Calgary park. And taking flight after a long, hard recovery.
There's lots of food here. It's a protected wetland, so it's a nice, safe place for him to strengthen up.
After months of rehab, an American white pelican is released back into the wild.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. A bipartisan committee that erupted into chaos yesterday has now voted to send the Forever Canadian petition to Cabinet, recommending it be included in a referendum this fall. It may not be the exact wording of Thomas Lukaszuk's petition, as Cabinet has the opportunity to tweak the question. It should all be made more clear in 45 minutes when the Premier addresses the province. But will any of it appease the separatists? Here's Tyson Fedor.
Shame on you, traitors! Traitors! All of you, traitors!
A man in the gallery of a special citizen initiative committee yelled at policymakers as they voted to send a pro-Confederation petition for cabinet approval. But the committee also left the question open-ended.
Do you believe Alberta should remain in Canada? Instead, we see include an option. And that word option gives a huge amount of latitude to the government to insert any question of their choosing.
400,000 Albertans signed Thomas Lukaszuk's petition last year. Despite him saying it was meant for policy discussion, the UCP government says he wanted a referendum on that question all along.
I can't believe we actually have to do this.
During debate, the NDP members wanted to include First Nation consultation before any question, but it was voted down.
Her political fortunes depend on keeping that group of people happy. She made a promise that there'd be a separatism referendum.
Not going to have productive debate today. Then let's just call the question and move on with it. But this is clearly an attempt by the member from Edmonton-Wentwood, Ms. Pancholi, to grandstand for her next leadership race.
Even though a provincial court shot down a separatist petition last week, some form of question is expected for Albertans to vote on separation this fall.
It's going to have to clear a number of different hurdles. It's going to have to go through First Nations consultation. It's also going to have to be passed by the Alberta legislature.
And depending on what that question is, separatists are putting pressure on the Premier and exposing cracks in the governing party.
There's many in the UCP party that would prefer to stay in Canada, but then there's a very large and motivated base of the UCP that's calling on her to exercise her constitutional authority to call a referendum.
Publicly, at least, the government does not see it that way.
Our caucus, we're united, and I look forward to seeing the direction of the Premier heads.
It's now up to Cabinet and the Premier about how to move forward, and it's unclear what happens if a separation vote in favour of leaving Canada succeeds.
I don't think it's appropriate to say, well, we'll have that conversation after the question is called, because merely calling the question has implications. How you frame the question has implications. I think all of that needed to have been considered before we got here.
And Tyson joins us now with more. Tyson, reaction is pouring in. First Nations groups are not pleased with the direction of the province.
Well, Tara, Treaty 6 First Nations issuing a statement following that vote this afternoon. The group condemning the push from the UCP for a separation referendum, saying the province is being governed by a separatist regime and it will oppose this agenda. Treaty 6 does say that First Nations are carrying the burden of defending the Constitution and treaty rights, while the federal Liberal government remains silent. Tara.
Okay, Tyson, thank you. Premier Smith made absolutely no mention of a separation referendum when she spoke at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast earlier today. Tim Brooke joins us now. And Tim, Smith was really trying to keep the focus on Alberta's energy future.
Yes, Tara, she mainly tried to keep the conversation revolving around 2 main subjects this morning. The first subject being the Alberta-Ottawa Memorandum of Understanding that was finalized last week. And the second topic of conversation being on the relationship with BC Premier David Eby, who, of course, doesn't want another pipeline. Now, Eby will be in town next week for the Western Premiers Conference, and he said earlier that he just doesn't think Canada will work if separatist premiers get all the attention.
Will he show up?
I bought him a pair of boots, so I think he's going to show up at least for the boots. Told me he was looking forward to those.
Danielle Smith also made some promises around energy this morning. She says she has a goal to double oil and gas production and that right now international instability means our supply is more important than ever. She also touched on Alberta's improving relationship with the feds. But separatists tell us none of that really matters. They suggest if the Premier doesn't put their question on the referendum this fall, she'll be facing the same fate as Jason Kenney. But they don't explain how the Premier would be removed from her post.
Well, her leadership's on the line for sure. She makes the decisions, and the consequences of those decisions are something she's going to have to live with. And you know what? I'm not going to threaten her.
I urge the Premier to ask a very clear and well-defined question. It would be even more damaging for Albertans to go to the polls and be asked a question that was otherwise ambiguous, not clear. We need to settle this once and for all and move on from this.
Regardless of what she's announcing in about 40 minutes, it's shaping up to be quite a busy week for the Premier. She'll field questions from media tomorrow before welcoming in other leaders next week, Tara, during the Western Premiers Conference.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is speaking out against Alberta separatism.
I want a strong Alberta within a united Canada, and all conservatives will be campaigning for Canadian unity in Alberta and potentially, we hope not, but potentially in Quebec as well if the separatists win there.
Pierre Poilievre thinks Prime Minister Mark Carney should do more to quell separatist sentiments by pressing measures which could allow the oil and gas sector to grow. Premier Danielle Smith shuffled her cabinet today, filling 2 spots left vacant by MLAs who left cabinet because they don't plan to run in the next provincial election.
I, Jason John Dixon, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear.
Jason Nixon is now the finance minister. Adriana LaGrange is taking on a new health portfolio. She will be in charge of hospitals, taking over for her in primary and preventative health services is Justin Wright. There's also new ministers for agriculture, utilities, and assisted living. The Premier says her government will continue to focus on priorities that matter most to Albertans. And again, Premier Smith's address to the province begins tonight at 6:45. You can watch it here on CTV. A grizzly bear cub was hit and killed by a train in Banff National Park over the weekend. The bear was one of 2 cubs that had been seen with a well-known female known as Bear 142. These images were shot by wildlife photographer Jason Leo Bantle just days before the bear was struck on the tracks. Parks Canada says it happened Sunday evening near the Protection Mountain Campground. They estimate there are nearly 700 grizzly bears in Alberta, including 65 in Banff National Park. They are currently designated as a threatened species. A disturbing discovery in a Calgary park has the Humane Society investigating a case of animal neglect and cruelty. We want to warn you, certain images in this story may be disturbing to some viewers. Kevin Green reports.
So I got to about this log and I looked over.
Back on May 7th, Calgarian Annette Mazzaros found the bodies of 2 dead dogs discarded in a wooded area off this path near the Graves Bridge parking lot, which is where Glenmore Trail spans the Bow River.
Somebody to just toss them out into a public park. It really angered me that we as humans would do something like that.
The animals' bodies showed clear signs of neglect. She called animal services, but it took a week before anyone came to remove the animals.
They said they couldn't find the dogs and they didn't pick them up. And I got really agitated and I said, why wouldn't you call me? I had a map, I drew a map, I circled where they were, and anybody who came here can smell it.
The dogs' bodies were eventually picked up by a city crew, which took them to the Humane Society. It has taken over the investigation.
Despite some degradation from exposure, we were able to determine that there is indication of severe neglect in this case. We can determine that one of the dogs was starved.
Right here is where the dogs' bodies were found. In fact, the fur from one of the animals is still here on the site. On Wednesday, Humane Society investigators were back here gathering evidence from this area to try and determine just when the dogs' bodies were left here and other evidence that might help them determine where they came from. As difficult as they are to look at, the Humane Society wants Calgarians to see these images of the dogs. One, a golden retriever, the other, a collie terrier mix. They say someone knows where these animals came from.
These types of neglect cases happen over a prolonged period of time, so people around the animals would have noticed something going wrong, and especially someone who was owning or caretaking the animals would have absolutely seen this happening.
The Humane Society says it's looking at several charges under the criminal code regarding animal cruelty. Other charges could follow relating to the disposal of the animals' bodies. But it says right now it doesn't know who should be facing those charges. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
If you have any information about those dogs, you are asked to call the Calgary Humane Society. The city is launching a spring pet licensing enforcement blitz. The blitz is focused on animal licensing compliance. Officers will be interacting with pet owners during their regular duties in parks and other areas. They're reminding everyone that licensing is one of the simplest ways to reunite animals with owners if they get lost. The ticket for having an unlicensed pet is $250.
Pet license is more than a tag. It's a simple way to show love and protection, and that's what our message is. Love your pet, license it.
Licensing fees vary from $22 to $71 depending on your pet's spay and neuter status. You can get a license through 311 or the city's website. Last year, nearly 1,500 lost pets were reunited with owners because they were licensed.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
A young Calgary boy is the recipient of a very special bicycle.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Oh, that's perfect.
The Kiwanis Club of Calgary Chinook presented the youngster with its 10,000th refurbished bike. The club has been running this program for 30 years. In this time of rapid inflation, the club says providing something just as simple as a bike can make a meaningful difference, giving a child transportation and a feeling of independence.
We work through social agencies. So we work with quite a few of them through the city, and they are the ones who identify the children to us that are in need.
Once we get home, I know I'll be outside the whole day now. This morning on the drive here, that's all he kept saying was about the bike.
The Kiwanis Club of Calgary Chinook is marking 75 years of helping the community. Danielle, this would be a perfect night for a bike ride.
Absolutely. A walk, a bike ride, basically anything outdoors. We've got to take this in while it's here. 18 degrees. This is our daytime high, current temperature, and actually right where we should be for this time of year. So you could say it's perfect. Winds are calm out there. The sun is out, a few puffy clouds in the sky, and you can expect a similar thing for tomorrow in the city. So about 7 degrees when off to work and school at 8 a.m. Mainly sunny for the morning hours and early afternoon, and then later in the afternoon, the clouds will increase once again. 18 degrees as our high tomorrow, too. There is a very small chance of an isolated shower, but really most of that activity should stay off to the west of the city. More details coming up, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Police and hackers working together to stop scams. Just ahead, investigators in Edmonton team with an ethical hacking network to get ahead of crime. And a new thrift store opens inside Bow Valley College. We'll show you who benefits. Edmonton is host to one of the biggest artificial intelligence conventions in the country. New funding announcements were made from the federal government to help cement Canada's role as a world leader in AI research and recruitment. CTV's Curtis Goodrum has more on what role Alberta's capital will play in the research of AI.
There is an air of excitement at the Edmonton Convention Centre. Thousands here learning about Canada's and Edmonton's place in a quickly changing artificial intelligence landscape.
We've been leading for a while, and so that means we're pioneering spaces and ideas that other people aren't even looking at yet.
Tens of millions of dollars have been given to local researchers to fund their work and hire more of them. They're now part of a national organization sharing AI innovation across Canada.
It's literally just wild to be a researcher in a field that went from literally you don't even talk about it in tech to it's now in everyone's lives.
Ife Adabara is in Edmonton thanks to another new funding pot worth $30 million. It's being used by the U of A and AI Research Institute, Amy, to attract high-level AI researchers. She says Edmonton is on the cutting edge of a wide variety of fields.
One of the things that stand out with Canada is the collaborative, organizations like CIFA, for example, that is bringing together our researchers.
AI will change how we deliver healthcare, change how we deliver service, change how agriculture, mining, everything's done.
Artificial Intelligence Minister Evan Solomon says the U of A is at the forefront of development.
You're seeing it on the research side. You're seeing it on the industry side. You're seeing governments coming here looking for Canadian companies to build and to buy from.
It's a realization of a potential that's been building for more than 20 years, and it's going to keep growing for sure.
White says Alberta has the tools to become a leading hub for AI and technology over the next 5 years. Curtis Godrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Edmonton Police Service is using ethical hackers to stop scammers in their tracks. The service says the unorthodox collaboration has helped prevent the loss of tens of millions of dollars already. CTV's Narmanisa explains.
Criminals are getting smarter, more innovative, and reaching further.
Edmonton's police chief says fraud investigations have become more advanced.
From a policing perspective, this has dissolved our physical borders and means these investigations aren't what they used to be.
EPS has now hired hackers for its fraud investigations. They've been working with police since last July.
A unique opportunity for us to actually get involved before things could actually happen and people were victimized.
EPS says ethical hackers target frauds that are in progress. They engage with scam centers, then use their expertise to hack into its systems and gain access.
They capture data on victims. They can hear victims on the phone. They can see information going back and forth. And then they will then in turn provide that intelligence information to us so that we can then engage.
In 10 months, EPS says it's intercepted more than $45 million from getting into the hands of scammers.
Without them, we wouldn't be here to talk about this investigative success.
Ethical hackers have a very important role with law enforcement.
This cybersecurity analyst says it's now a crucial skill.
Crime has also become more digital. It is inevitable that we're going to see more of these collaborations, more of these types of stories, and more people getting criminally charged as a result of the efforts of law enforcement working with these experts and private industry.
EPS says as long as crime goes online, it'll be crucial to use ethical hackers. It's also worked with dozens of law enforcement agencies, including the U.S. Secret Service. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
We have breaking news from downtown Calgary tonight. One person has been rushed to hospital after being struck by a C train. It happened at about 5:20 p.m. at Centre Street and 7th Ave Southeast. That's just near the TELUS Sky building. EMS says it transported one patient to hospital in life-threatening condition. C-train service is stopped in the area right now. The investigation into the circumstances continues.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
All right, let's bring Danielle back in as we look ahead to our 5-day forecast.
Yeah, and it looks pretty fantastic. Mother Nature's making up for long weekend with giving us a really nice whack of weather for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think you're going to like the forecast here. All right, 18 degrees is the current temperature in Calgary, right where we should be for this time of year. It's also 18 in Lethbridge, Drumheller. Brooks is at 19 right now, and Medicine Hat is sitting at the 17 mark. Winds are calm today, especially in comparison to the excessive wind we've had in the far south yesterday and the day before. I mean, Medicine Hat was over 70 km/h gusts yesterday, and now not even a gust registering today. In the 30s, Calgary through Brooks, Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, over into Cranbrook and Banff. So calm winds today. They should remain calm for tomorrow as well. All right, here's the system that we dealt with yesterday and the day before. The core of it is off into southern Saskatchewan, but it's still pushing some instability into the east side of southern Alberta. So isolated showers. Most of the thunderstorm activity is all on the Saskatchewan side or just along the Saskatchewan border. Let me zoom in here so I can show you what's going on. These are just really pockets of isolated showers, very brief, and this will be out by 10 o'clock tonight. So let me show you that. Fast forward to 10 and this is out. So we're done dealing with that system. There is another system pushing off from the west, but it's so stable that it's not going to do much. It will do some in the mountains, some in the foothills. For tomorrow morning, we're looking at sunshine for Calgary, down through Lethbridge, Medicine Hat. In the afternoon, we will have the clouds start to increase, and then we'll start to get this instability building into the foothills. It doesn't look like it's going to have enough steam or energy to make its way all the way to the QE2, Calgary, or Highway 2. It may reach the Cardston area. Small chance it'll reach Lethbridge. Much smaller chance of it actually making its way all the way to Calgary. A lot of this will fizzle out before it gets to Highway 2 and QE2, as you can see here. But if you live along the highway, if you're in Calgary, small chance of seeing an isolated shower around the supper hours, but most likely what you're just going to get is the winds picking up a little bit around those supper hours and some more cloud cover, but mainly sunny for much of the day. A high of 18 for tomorrow. Check out your weekend, 24 degrees on Saturday and then 20 on Sunday. We'll still hold on to this 20s Monday, and the next system rolls in Monday night, delivering 2 to 4 millimeters of rain Monday through Tuesday. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
There were fears over the Ebola outbreak touching down in Canada last night after an Air France flight bound for the U.S. was diverted instead to Montreal. It was rerouted because of American flight restrictions denying a passenger entry because they had recently visited East Africa. The plane was heading from Paris to Detroit when it landed at Trudeau International Airport. The passenger was then sent back to Paris. According to U.S. officials, they boarded the flight in error. Meanwhile, in Ontario, one person in hospital is being tested for the virus.
Statistically, they probably will test negative. So it's important to do this type of testing, contact tracing, screening, right? This is how we track disease epidemics, but it shouldn't affect anybody's behavior.
That patient recently returned from East Africa. The Ontario Health Ministry says that test is out of an abundance of caution. There are currently no confirmed cases in Canada. Bow Valley College has opened a thrift store helping students in need of clothes while also providing them with work experience. Students will be able to grab emergency clothing and essential items there. The endeavor is a collaboration between the school and the Women in Need Society. The aim of the store is to help students focus on their education, taking away any clothing concerns. It will also provide students with knowledge that they won't learn in a classroom.
It's not only a connection with affordability and sustainability, but it really is a learning lab here at the college. We are going to have work integrated learning placements, capstone projects, volunteering, co-curricular. So it's a wonderful synergy between WINS and Bow Valley.
Store sales will go toward helping qualified students meet basic needs through WINS' House to Home program. The city of Lethbridge is moving forward on $285 million in planned upgrades to its wastewater treatment plant. Work completed on the facility was last done 40 years ago, and the city says delaying the project further could increase future costs or create a greater risk of problems. The aim is to increase the plant's output by about 50% or 20 million litres per day. While the city has money set aside in its reserves to pay for this, it will still need to take out a loan to complete the project in a timely manner. Discussions on creating a borrowing bylaw are set for next month's council meeting. It's curtains for the Late Show. How politics may have forced a late-night institution to turn off the lights. And these Bear brothers are new to the Calgary Zoo. Now they're showing off for our cameras. The CRTC is raising the amount streaming giants spend on Canadian content, which could be seen as a trade irritant south of the border.
We are not in touch with the government about the status of trade negotiations. We're applying Canadian law in Canada.
The move will include Canadian streaming services like Crave, which along with CTV is owned by Bell Media, as well as American companies like Netflix and Disney+. They'll have to contribute 15% of their revenue to Canadian content, up from 5%. Traditional broadcasters will see their amount lowered to 25%. The CRTC says it will amount to $2 billion in funding, though some American politicians have stated these policies discriminate against American companies. Tonight marks the end of an era as Late Show host Stephen Colbert delivers his final sign-off. The program comes to an end after a 33-year run. CBS says it's being pulled for financial reasons, but not everyone's buying that. Here's CTV's John Vinavalley-Rao.
After tonight, we have only one more show left.
In the lead up to the finale, all sorts of A-listers dropping by to say goodbye to a show that never shied away from politically charged humor. And among them, Colbert's former colleague, Jon Stewart.
Stephen, get ready for the ride of your life.
With Talking Heads frontman David Byrne, perhaps summing up the feelings towards the network that pulled the plug.
It's The Late Show with David Letterman.
making its debut on CBS 33 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a promo. This is the actual show.
Stephen Colbert took the helm in 2015.
We are up here for the wanton destruction of CBS property.
David Letterman recently joining him.
This is yours.
This is my desk chair.
To mark the show's controversial demise, announced after Colbert mocked a $16 million settlement between CBS parent company Paramount and U.S. President Donald Trump, calling it a big fat bribe. CBS insists the show's cancellation was a purely financial decision, but the timing left many unconvinced.
He took politics and made it part of the everyday conversation in a way that was satirical. He was trying to get people to think.
Recently joining Colbert on set, his fellow late-night hosts.
Is there anything that we have not touched on before we move on to this? I'm curious.
The outrage that your show is being thrown off the air?
Yeah. Some worry others will suffer the same fate.
You know, Seth Meyers is trying to introduce himself as next, so these guys see it coming.
Anybody here from Canada?
Colbert often made Canada part of the conversation. From lampooning Trump's tariffs.
Why tax our maple sap?
To interviewing Canadian politicians and celebrities, even belting out a classic maritime folk song.
But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
And now for Colbert, it's one last show and a late-night landscape that may never be the same. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
A white Pelican took flight in Calgary today. It comes after months of rehab. That story is just ahead.
Here's your Skywatch weather camera. We have a little bit of cloud cover out there. You can also see some blue sky. The winds are pretty calm. We got to 18 degrees today. Look at all these 18s. That's our current temperature, our daytime high, and normal for this time of year. Right where we should be. Okay, the record for this day is 30.6 from 1928, and we're up to 15 hours and 50 minutes of daylight. How does our temperature compare to the rest of the country? Here you go. We're warmer than Toronto. Toronto got to 15 today. Halifax, though, got to 23. Over on the west coast, Victoria got to 22. Saskatoon got into the 20s, and so did Winnipeg. And we're not far behind because we're going to get to that tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, the weekend. Just look at current temperatures. Lethbridge, 18 in Drumheller, 19 in Brooks, 17 in Medicine Hat. And there's that system that we've dealt with off to the east, still though creating some isolated showers on the eastern side of southern Alberta, but this is really starting to fizzle out, and it will be completely out by 10 o'clock tonight. Calgary is just quiet. We just have some cloud cover in some spots. 15 degrees for the evening, 6 overnight, 7 to kick off the day, and another high of 18 expected. UV index will be at 6, which is high. We'll have mainly sunny skies for the morning and early afternoon, and then the clouds will increase. Very small chance of an isolated shower by the supper hours, but most likely that activity will stay west of the city. That's your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right where it's free. All right, checking out Kamloops and Kelowna, 25 and 24 tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. Mainly cloudy in Edmonton with a high of 20 degrees. Rocky Mountain House, 18. Coronation, 19. Olds, 18. Now, we will have a lot of sunshine for the morning hours in southern Alberta, but it will start to cloud over in the afternoon. Lethbridge and Medicine Hat looking at a high of 21. Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. An American white pelican spent more than 7 months in care at Calgary Wildlife Centre, suffering from a variety of ailments. It had cuts on its feet, a broken wingtip, and lice inside its pouch, making it difficult to eat. The bird was nursed back to health and today was released into a protected wetland near High River. Kevin Fleming was there.
It's a big bird and left in its travel crate to get used to its new surroundings at Frank Lake. Calgary Wildlife chose this spot because there's a flock of American white pelicans living here for the summer.
Pelicans are group birds. They don't particularly do well on their own. So we wanted to find a place that was quiet, that he could have some time to strengthen his wings.
Kyla Ray opens the crate so the pelican can stretch its wings, but it doesn't leave right away.
I think he was just checking the space out, looking around like he's feeling the wind, see which way it was going.
But it's not long before it leans into the wind and then takes off. It's a happy moment for the people who nursed it back to health.
There aren't even words to see the change in an animal, especially through the winter. It was a long winter, and to watch him slowly move from like a small quarantine space into a little bit of a bigger space and changing the substrates he was on and making sure his mind was being used.
The resident pelicans take notice of the new addition as it swims in the background looking for fish. It was in bad shape when it arrived at the rehab facility in October 2025, full of parasites, underweight, and not moving well.
He was found in Calgary during the migration south, got injured during that migration. We need to get him back with a flock. So this is really helpful that there's a flock of pelicans here. This is great habitat for him, lots of food, and yeah, he should be good and on his way.
Just beyond the island, you can now see 2 pelicans swimming together. And that's just what Waylon and Ray want to see. The pelican also showed signs of lead poisoning, and rehab specialists are asking the public to properly dispose of fishing material like lead weights to help protect waterfowl. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Frank Lake.
The rehab specialists say the pelican turned into a little bit of a diva with its food preferences, taking a real liking to salmon. That salmon and other fish that it was fed cost about $250 a week. Calgary Wildlife does not receive government funding and relies on public donations. We've posted more information about Calgary Wildlife on our website. You can now see a couple of grizzly bear cubs enjoying their outdoor habitat at the Wilder Institute Calgary Zoo. Turner and Fitz arrived at the zoo last fall after being orphaned in the wild. The brothers have spent the past several months getting to know their animal care team, and they spent the winter behind the scenes. Now they're exploring their outdoor habitat in the zoo's Wild Canada section. Zoo staff say the playful cubs are doing phenomenally health-wise, and they're fascinating to watch.
I think they are the absolute cutest baby grizzly bears you are ever going to see. They're magical little conductors of chaos.
The cubs were discovered alone after their mother was killed in an encounter with a human near Diamond Valley. They are now just over 1 year old. There is no plan at the moment to move the bears anywhere else. In the wild, a black bear got a little too close for comfort to a group of hikers in North Vancouver this week. The bear walked right down the trail. It was full of hikers on Holiday Monday. The trail in Deep Cove is one of the most popular hiking destinations on the North Shore. New data from Statistics Canada shows more Canadians are continuing to avoid travel to the United States, while more Canadians are choosing to travel abroad. In March of this year, Canadian returns from the U.S. dropped by 6.4% compared to March 2025. That marks the 15th straight month of year-over-year decline. Meantime, in the same month, Americans made 1.3 million trips to Canada, a boost of 4.4%. Canadians haven't stopped traveling, though, making 1.6 million returns from overseas trips in March. That's a 3.5% increase. Anyone traveling to Banff won't see the famous welcome sign, at least for a few weeks. The big sign is being removed and stored so crews can finish work on a new park being built nearby. There'll be new trees, landscaping, and public seating. All right, let's bring Danielle in one last time as we take our final peek at the forecast.
Some good stuff to tell you about. It's not often that we're not talking about thunderstorms, storm season, snow, grapple, hail, all of those things. That's not in our 3-day forecast, at least. So 18 degrees is the high for tomorrow. There is a small chance of an isolated shower during the supper hours, but most of that activity and most likely that will just stay off to the west of the city. Lots of sunshine for the morning and then starting to cloud over later in the afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, 24 and 20. And mainly sunny skies. So absolutely stunning out there for our longer range forecast. As you can see, the next system rolls in Monday night and lasts through Tuesday and will deliver about 2 to 4 millimeters of rain. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors. Crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Now, Tara, you asked for flower photos.
I did.
Michael and Terrasano delivered for you. So this is taken in Southwest Calgary yesterday, I believe. So
ask and you shall receive. Those are beautiful.
Beautiful tulips.
Oh, love it. Well, thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening. We'll see you tomorrow. The Premier's address to the province is next.
The following is a paid program. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
My fellow Albertans, tonight I wish to speak with you about the debate we are having in this province on the future of Alberta and Canada. Last week, an Alberta judge released a decision finding that the citizen initiative petition organized by the group Stay Free Alberta on the issue of Alberta separation is unconstitutional because, in the judge's view, there was not adequate consultation done with the First Nations band about the potential effect of the petition on their treaty rights. This ruling fundamentally misinterprets the nature of the duty to consult, which was never meant to prevent citizens from making their voices heard through a democratic process. Now, I want to be clear. I support Alberta remaining in Canada. That is how I would vote on separation in a provincial referendum. It is also the position of my government and my caucus. However, despite my personal support for remaining in Canada, I am deeply troubled by an erroneous court decision that interferes with the democratic rights of hundreds of thousands of Albertans. Albertans who volunteered, prepared petitions, made their case to fellow citizens, and appear to have secured the required amount of signatures necessary under Alberta law to hold a provincial referendum. The fact is that between the Forever Canada petition requesting a referendum on Alberta remaining in Canada and the Stay Free Alberta petition requesting a referendum on leaving Canada, approximately 700,000 Albertans have signed a petition requesting a vote on this issue. And I, as Premier, will not have a legal mistake by a single judge silence the voices of hundreds of thousands of Albertans. That's not the Alberta way. Alberta's future will be decided by Albertans, not the courts. Our government will therefore be appealing the decision to Alberta's Court of Appeal and, if necessary, the Supreme Court of Canada. But this process will take many months and possibly years before being addressed by those higher courts. In the meantime, under our legal system, this troubling court decision is binding law in Alberta until it is successfully appealed. This means that it is unlikely the courts will permit Elections Alberta to hold a binding provincial referendum on separation until this incorrect ruling is overturned or clarified. But there is another way to hear from Albertans while we wait for our legal appeal to be heard. That is why I'm announcing today that I will be requesting our government add an additional question to the October 19th referendum vote announced previously. The additional question will be, should Alberta remain a province of Canada? Or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada? Because this proposed referendum question does not directly trigger separation, but if successful, would ask Alberta's government to commence the legal process necessary to hold a binding referendum on the matter, the recent court ruling would not be applicable, and the referendum question I outlined could proceed. This question will also ensure the 700,000 signatories to both the Forever Canada petition and the Stay Free Alberta petition are respected, and the will of Albertans is heard. Kicking the can down the road only prolongs a very emotional and important debate, and muzzling the voices of hundreds of thousands of Albertans wanting to be heard is unjustifiable in a free and democratic society. It's time to have a vote, understand the will of Albertans on this subject, and move on. Now, obviously, Alberta's first ever provincial vote on our province's future in Canada is of monumental importance. As such, I feel it is important to clearly state my personal position so Albertans know where I stand. I first want to assure Albertans that our government will respect the outcome and direction received on all of the referendum questions being voted on this October 19th. Our government has already launched the website, albertareferendum2026.ca, with a significant amount of background information on the immigration and constitutional questions previously announced, and I hope every Albertan will take the time to explore that website in detail. As to the specific issue of separation, I have repeatedly stated that the position of the UCP caucus and UCP government is to build a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. I have never deviated from that position, and I will not do so now. I will therefore be voting for Alberta to remain in Canada, while continuing to work each and every day to restore and strengthen provincial rights under the Canadian Constitution. The fact is, Canada was founded on this very principle. Canada is very different from the United States and many other Western democracies. For example, the United States centralizes the majority of power and decision-making in its federal government. In Canada, We chose a decentralized federation composed of very unique and diverse provinces left to govern themselves in almost all matters, with the main exceptions of national defense and international affairs. Over time, our federal government has sought to move towards a more centralized American-style system, with Ottawa attempting to take over many provincial areas of jurisdiction, using all manner of legislative, judicial, and financial leverage. I categorically reject Ottawa's attempts to do so and call on all provincial leaders and MPs to undo the extensive damage that centralization of power in Ottawa has done to our country economically and with respect to national unity. I am fiercely loyal to both Alberta and Canada, but I truly believe our country is so much stronger and more prosperous when we respect the rights of provinces and empower them to govern themselves with minimal federal interference. Albertans, not Ottawa. Quebecers, not Ottawa. And all the other provinces must each be empowered to control our own direction and destiny, whether it's energy policy, agricultural practices, policing, firearms ownership, or how to administer our social programs. The days of Ottawa dictating and interfering in provincial affairs must come to an end. The future economic success and unity of our country depends on it. When I was first elected Premier, I was very concerned that it would be almost impossible to restore provincial rights stolen from Alberta and other provinces by the Trudeau-Singh government in Ottawa. However, our government went to work anyway to see if we could. We have been relentless in making our voices heard, launching dozens of legal actions, appearing in hundreds of national interviews, bridge building with other premiers, and aggressively passing legislation, such as the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act, to take back our provincial autonomy from the federal government. We ran extensive advertising campaigns against the destructive net zero electricity regulations, as well as the catastrophic oil and gas production cap, in order to persuade our fellow Canadians that Trudeau's anti-Alberta agenda was also anti-Canadian and was destroying the unity, energy, and economic future of our nation. A great majority of Albertans joined us in that fight, calling friends, relatives, and participating in social media to spread that message throughout the country. We made a lot of noise as a province. We fought hard and refused to accept the status quo. And the result? Well, my friends, we have started to win. Over the course of the last 2 years, the tide of national public opinion on resource development, provincial rights, energy policy, and a host of other issues began to turn. Our Alberta oil sands went from a national target to a national treasure. Pipelines went from impossible to a national imperative. Justin Trudeau's anti-Alberta, anti-energy policies became a national embarrassment, one of several, that ultimately cost him his prime ministership. The Leave It in the Ground NDP, led by Jagmeet Singh, was electorally annihilated. And the federal Liberals, led by their new leader, Prime Minister Mark Carney, adopted most of Alberta's positions on energy and resource development. In fact, the current Prime Minister has worked very constructively with our government to craft an Alberta-Ottawa Energy Agreement, or MOU, as it is often called. This has already attracted tens of billions of dollars in investment for new pipelines, natural gas-run data centers, electricity generation, and so much more. Under that energy agreement with Ottawa, the destructive federal electricity regulations are gone. The economically disastrous oil and gas production cap has been scrapped. New pipelines carrying nearly 1 million barrels of Alberta oil to the United States are proceeding with speed toward construction. And a new 1 million barrel a day pipeline to the BC West Coast is well in progress and on track to have its permitting completed by September of next year. Could and should these reforms and projects move faster? Yes, of course they should. The federal government can and needs to act with even more urgency than it has. Do we in Alberta still have our differences with the federal Liberal government? Obviously. And make no mistake, we will relentlessly challenge them to respect our provincial rights and jurisdiction every time they step over the line. But my fellow Albertans, there can be no doubt that things are a world of difference better for our province than they were under the Trudeau NDP government. Both major federal parties, the federal Conservatives and now the federal Liberals, representing 85% of voters in Canada, are advocating for Alberta to increase our energy production and exports. Only some extremists in the NDP, Bloc Québécois, and Green parties, representing less than 15% of voters in Canada, hold fast to their anti-Alberta, leave-it-in-the-ground rhetoric. This complete turning of Canadian government policy and national public opinion was unthinkable just a few short years ago. No one thought it was possible, except here in Alberta. We turned the tide. We are winning hearts and minds to our cause right across the country, as many of our fellow Canadians are coming to understand that a strong Alberta and strong provinces means a stronger and more prosperous Canada. Now, to those hundreds of thousands of Albertans who are still not convinced or are unsatisfied with the pace of change and believe that separation is the answer, I want you to know that I empathize with you and I understand why you feel that way. You are justifiably frustrated and angry with Ottawa. You are proud and loyal Albertans that have watched our province be taken advantage of repeatedly over past decades, and you want it to stop. So do I, more than anything. Like you, I love this province and our people so much. I am so proud to be Albertan. But I ask you to please consider joining me to vote for Alberta to remain in Canada and not give up on our beautiful country just as we're gaining respect and the tide has turned in our favor. Not when our fellow Canadians, even those that may support different political parties, are nonetheless supporting Alberta's vision for a prosperous, energy-rich nation with strong provinces building a Canada we can be proud of again. In my view, now is not the time to give up hope in our country, not when we have fought so hard for so long and come so far. I believe Canada can still work. I believe it's working better every day, and it can work even better in the future if we keep fighting together for it. Together with our fellow Canadians, we have built a Canada that is loved and respected all over the world. Our men and women have died together fighting for our freedoms and the safety of hundreds of millions around the globe. Canadians were there in Europe, fighting and making the ultimate sacrifice in the Second World War long before we were joined in that effort by our American allies. Together with our allies, we were also instrumental in beating back the forces of communism and terrorism. The world would be a much darker place if not for Canada. We have built marvels of technology together. We are known the world over as a country of innovators, explorers, and entrepreneurs, but also of peacemakers, philanthropists, and contributors to the good of the world. Our federal politicians may stray from our foundational values from time to time, but our fellow Canadians, they are our family, our friends, our blood. We all know our family needs to do some work to get rid of a few bad habits developed over the past decade, but that's what we are in the process of fixing. Now is the time to double down and fight even harder for the prosperity and change we want to see in our country. Because Albertans are at our best when we are hard at work getting things done for each other and our families. Solving problems, serving our communities, creating and innovating, building a stronger Alberta and a stronger Canada. And now is our chance to do so, finally with a Chinook wind at our backs instead of a winter blizzard in our face. Finally, I wish to speak with those of you who already agree with me that Alberta should remain in Canada. Let us guard against the trap of using division and demonization tactics against our fellow Albertans with whom we disagree on this matter. The vast majority of those advocating for separation love our province profoundly. Many are also proud Canadians that have simply lost hope that their families can flourish within Canada. So instead of attacking these loyal Albertans, let's work together to restore hope in their country again. Let's work together to hold Ottawa accountable for implementing the Alberta-Ottawa energy deal and get that pipeline built to the West Coast. Let's work together to get Ottawa to stand down on their unfair persecution of law-abiding gun owners. Let's work together to build an immigration system that helps support our economy while putting Alberta workers and taxpayers first. Let's demonstrate why Alberta can be stronger and more prosperous as a member of a renewed and unified Canada, one that is moving past the last 10 years to empower provinces to develop and export our resources and to govern our own provincial affairs free from federal interference. Let's use the power of hope and persuasion and reject the language of division and demonization. We are, after all, each other's neighbors, friends, and family. We must never let the voices of hatred and vilification divide us as a people. Because at the end of this debate, and when the referendum is over, we must come together to ensure that our beloved province continues to prosper. And that is my hope, that our beloved Alberta and Canada will remain forever strong and free. Thank you and good night.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed